Hello guys, welcome back to my channel, and in this video we're going to go over my first impression on Field Commander Robadon. As usual, I'm going to use the YouTube post I made as sort of a base, and then we're going to expand on it as needed. The first part is just a general overview of the unit. So I said that Robadon is a great tank for green teams, and you need to run at the very least one additional green unit. It cannot be used as the only green in a team. The more you have, the better his passive will be. But in general, you can run with like 2 green, 3 green, and it's fine. Mono green would be the best use case for him, but not all the time you can pull that off. So it's not a must. What is must is that you need at least one more, so one additional green. So there is sort of lack in versatility, but at the same time, it's acceptable, I would say. Is also a lot better than I expected at 0 dupes. It will provide a lot of survivability, also at 0 dupes, and in general is not bad. His own survivability is lacking. It will have some downtimes, and you will need to support him in some specific ways if you want him to do well, but he can perform. So it's not like he's worthless. He is good at 0 dupes. It will get a lot better with Revolution 5, but until then, it's basically the same unit. So 0 dupes or Rainbow 4 is the same. You get to Rainbow 5 is better, but basically the same. When you activate Revolution 5, then it gets a lot better and opens up a lot more comps. So keep that in mind. His damage is also basically non-existent. Even with his Revolution 4 trying to add some max HP percent damage, maybe I can also show that. So here we have the special move that basically every time an ally inside the area takes damage, then is going to gain a stack and increase the attack coefficient of Primal Punch. And there is a max of 20 stacks. So if allies inside the area takes damage a total of 20 times, you're going to reach max stacks. And if that happens, which seems like a reasonable thing, it's really not. It's pretty inconsistent. But when you get to 20, then you gain 50% max HP damage on the AoE punch that is throwing, which sounds great on paper, right? I mean, 50% target max HP is great. The issue is that one, as I already said, it's extremely hard to get to 20, even when you run multiple close range units that are inside the area. It's still not guaranteed that you can proc it. And even if you do proc it, let's assume you proc it 100% of the times you use the special move. This 50% max HP damage has an 8-second cooldown because the area is 8 seconds. And it's not going to throw the punch until the area expires. So, if you're already saying that Gustang damage is falling off in a lot of scenarios, this guy is even worse because Gustang is like every 6-7 seconds you're going to deal the damage. This guy is every 8. Gustang is 60%. This guy is 50. So all things considered, you can already tell that this guy cannot really run as a main DPS. He will have way more problems than Gustang. And just in general, is not built to be a main DPS. If it was consistent, it could be a sub DPS. But with how inconsistent it is just eventual good damage every now and then, but not sub DPS damage, not carry damage. It might happen in a few fights, but it's not consistent. So yeah, there's that for the basically damage part here of the overview. And that's it. Now we can quickly mention some pros and cons. The pros I briefly said before as well. He has amazing survivability with the Revolution 5. Let me also quickly show the Revolution 5 here. So basically, for as long as there is a green element ally other than Robadon, the HP of Robadon cannot drop below 1. So he's immortal, which is pretty massive. He's already immune to status effects. So you're going to have an immortal tank unit that is going to be like going on the enemy team, and he cannot die, cannot be CC'd, you cannot stop him. It's pretty massive. We have some green units, like you can take a Revolution 7 Trom Ray that has perma conceal or untargetability. Great. Basically, you're going to make Robadon unkillable easily if enemies don't have unconditional AoE attacks, or a unit like Arya that has a ton of survivability on her own. These two together with Robadon further boosting the survivability of Arya is going to be massive. If you use even Princess that at the beginning has low survivability, which is going to be supported by Robadon, then in the later stage, Princess is basically making this guy unkillable because Princess will dodge every attack, she won't die, and Robadon won't die either. So there are a lot of good synergies in green. These are just a few. Also, you could run Ju, she has a long conceal, so that also works out. So you have a lot of options. So really massive Revolution 5. That one is insane. Then we have also the point that he can keep green teammates alive quite well. Again, thanks to the passive, he has a like basically anniversary Iwa passive. Well, not passive. Revolution 5 built into his passive. So depending on how many green teammates you have, the more times this can proc. But basically, when a green element ally would go below 4% HP, then you consume one essence to make them invincible. This only procs again on green element allies, so it's different from Anniversary Iwa. It's green only. Still perfectly fine. And so, yeah, this survivability is good for green teammates. He also has insane survivability for any close range unit that is very close to him, because if they are within the area that he deploys and this area follows him around, all allies, this one doesn't care about the element or the color, are going to take 1 damage. That's really, really good. So, what to say? In terms of survivability provides is really good. Zero dupes, Rainbow 4, same survivability provided, absolutely the same. Literally, the passive doesn't change in terms of duration, number of stacks, anything. And also, this one doesn't change in duration, number of damage, anything. The survivability he provides is the same. What changes with Revolution 5 is his own survivability, which is lacking because he does not protect himself except with the special move. But if he doesn't chain it, then he might die every now and then. So keep that in mind. He also has decent energy decrease and swiftness decrease. The energy decrease from the return skill that is going to apply sort of a barrier around him. I need to double check how it's actually interacting with the special move, because I know, because I checked it, that when the special move is deployed and this active skill is up, you still take 1 damage, even though here it states that you're going to ignore damage below 30% max HP. I probably think that the fixed here is overtaking the ignore damage below, because this one is saying you will take 1 damage, period. Which makes sense, because otherwise you would have a lot of issues stuck in this one, like the attack coefficient increase. So that makes sense. But then you lose the energy decrease, which would have been insane, because you take 1 damage, it gets nullified, so you take 0, and then you decrease the energy. That would have been absolutely massive. I'm still not 100% sure that it's not working, because maybe it could. Maybe this is just it overriding the effect by saying you will take 1 damage, period. This one would still register the ignore, even though you're taking the damage, and apply the energy decrease. I need to check it. I need to isolate the effect, because when I tried it, it was always with Charm Ray or other units that had energy decrease. So I will isolate this effect and see. If it does proc, great. If it doesn't, yeah, kind of a garbage active skill, to be honest. So yeah, that's about it for this point here. So yeah, I mean, swiftness decrease is nice, but it's just 40. Energy decrease, this one is likely not working. The other one is on the exclusive equipment that is going to add 200 energy decrease every hit, so 600 in total. Fine, but again, on an active skill is not as frequent, so not too insane. It's just decent. For cons, he has no provoke, and I should have added grouping as well. So enemies could jump on your backline, and once the stacks on your passive are gone, then your backline will also be gone unless you move to them for some reason. So he's going to excel more at protecting close range units thanks to the special move, but it cannot protect in any way the backline other than the passive. So once the passive is over, all the stacks are gone, then he cannot do anything. He has no damage, as we mentioned before. Maybe we will find the next days or weeks ways to make the Revolution 4 more consistent, in which case it could be a sub DPS, so this point wouldn't exist anymore, but fine. He is forced to be played with green units. Not full green, so it's still okay, but I wanted to highlight the fact that if you don't have some very good green units to running with, then it's not worth pulling in general, but more on that later. And he has a short downtime when chaining special moves. That is not anymore an issue when you have Revolution 5 for his zone survivability, but there is still downtime for your teammates. So when this area expires, he's going to throw a punch, and if he doesn't hit all enemies, or if some enemies are immune to status effects, then they could hit him before he gets to recast his special move. Even though he has max energy, doesn't matter. There will always be maybe a few frames at times, maybe 1 second in the worst cases, where you have it down. And you might die in that very split second. So I wanted to highlight that. Keep in mind that allies might die. If it's not Revolution 5, he might die himself. So you cannot chain it perfectly with 100% uptime. There will be like 99% uptime, let's say, maybe a bit less if it's actually a second downtime that it takes, but yeah, whatever. You get the idea. So yeah, that's it for cons. I think I also kind of went through the kit very briefly. We don't need to be that precise. For that, there is going to be the character review. So now let's briefly mention the dupes. I already said 0 dupes or Rainbow 4 is the same. It doesn't change the core of his kit in any way. It's going to get some more scaling on some effects, more duration on this active skill, but we already mentioned is not worth it. More energy decrease, yeah, sure. Swiftness 20 or 40, doesn't matter. And the special move, the damage is insignificant, so we don't really care. 0 dupes, Rainbow 4, absolutely same unit. So yeah, as I mentioned, 0 dupes is still decent, so it doesn't mean that he's a bad unit. Is really good. You will need some grouping so that it can keep enemies together, and his special move can be a bit better if you're running multiple close range units that could otherwise go wherever they want. If all units, like if all enemies are grouped up, then your close range units are likely going to stick together, so that's important. You must run Barry because he has very bad self-survivability without Revolution 5, so Barry is a must before that. And you need to provide him with some early energy, and also ways for him to keep generating energy. So having Runda would be great because once his special move is up, then the barrier will never be destroyed. So that's a good thing from my point of view. And Tromray can do both of those things. I tried him with maxed out Tromray with Runda, and they were perfect. Really a lot of utility, and I could run Robadon like at 0 dupes, no problem for the most part. He could keep alive a team with just DPSs on his own just because he had Tromray. Without Tromray, you can try to use Anna, but then you would need also a Runda user on the same row. You could try to use Irang, same thing. You still need Runda on the same row for the most part for that early energy a bit. So there are some things to consider, but you can use him. You need to check what you have and if you can make it work, but when the conditions are right, it does work. So let me see if I can show maybe an example. I think I checked a bit before. Where is it? I think it was in a single stage because in the multi-stage I was using a very dumb team, so that does not matter. Probably this one. Yeah, the team is right. I need to see if the enemy makes sense. But here we have Princess, Tromray, Rashut, Arya. Yeah, super offensive. No survivability whatsoever. We just have a 0 dupes Robadon keeping them alive. So let's see how this fight played out. Okay, yeah. We can see the damage was evenly distributed, so we should be fine. As you can see, we also have add-in that normally would just one-tap our princess in this case. Also, Misang will basically one-tap Robadon and proc bar immediately. And we also have some annoying enemies, so why not? Let's just try this fight and see what happens. And then let's quickly move on to the other points, I would say. But just to show you that Tramray maxed out with Runda, if you have that, then zero dupes will work. You don't need to stress it to max him out. It's really not necessary. As you can see, Barry procced. Maybe I can slow it a bit. No, it's already slowed. But yeah, Barry procced. Now there is already the special move, so he already has Runda effect. He's gaining energy. He's using the special move now. Enemies are grouped up. So Princess and Arya are inside the area. They're taking the 1 damage every time they're hit. Then there is the downtime there. As you could see, it was like 1 second. And then it could still protect them. At this point, Princess already has max stacks, so she doesn't need protection anymore. But it was very good. Like, this team without Robadon would have died immediately. Literally. Like, Edin would have dashed, killed Princess. Misang would have killed the other unit you placed instead of Robadon. It would have been a mess. So that fight already was pretty good. And I think the performance was decent. I mostly used him with Tramray, so I can guarantee for that. You can use also other combos that I mentioned. They will be fine. So yeah, kind of up to you. I would probably not summon for him, but more on that in the should you pull section. For now, just know that 0 dupes, 3 red, orange 4, whatever, anything below Rainbow 5 would still work. But yeah, Rainbow 5, major improvement for both the early energy, so that you can cast the special move earlier, and we saw that's a major survivability tool. And also the Revolution 5 that makes him unkillable as long as you have a green ally, which is fine because a lot of green allies have decent self-sustain. Like, again, Tramray, Robadon will also provide some sustain thanks to his passive. Ju is good, Arya is good, Princess will struggle early, but that's fixed by Robadon, and then she will be unkillable, so good. In general, you have some combos that you can leverage, so really, really good Revolution 5. For ignition weapons, I already mentioned if it's 0 dupes or anything that is not Revolution 5, then you need Barry. Period. Just run Barry. It's going to make your life so much easier. If it's Revolution 5, you don't need Barry anymore. It becomes worthless. So at that point, you could go Doris or Runda. Both of them are fine, depending on what you're running in the team. And I will try also some other sets. For now, I just stick to those two. For the most part, they work perfectly fine. For stats, I wrote affected slot 4. The only thing that really matters here is the knockdown and the swiftness decrease. Is not much, so it's not mandatory. Just you cannot really run anything better. So whatever. Effect resistance is also decent. Some people in the comments wrote, why are you running that if he's immune to status effects? Yes, he's immune to status effects thanks to his passive. But the thing is that you can still have debuffs applied to you. And effect resistance will give you a chance to resist debuffs, which are important because debuffs also include, HP recovery block, but that's not a huge deal, it's not important. But energy recovery block, it's important to prevent. So you want that. Swiftness decrease could also be annoying in certain scenarios if the animation of the special move gets longer, is not invincible during that, it might die, or the teammates might die. So you don't want swiftness debuffs either. So effector resistance is still good. You have 200 in Revolution subnode. You can get 220 here, so that's good. For now, I'm trying a fat hit, but I think I will swap to effect resistance probably. So yeah, one of those two will be fine. For slot 5, literally it doesn't matter. If your deficit is low, you could go resistances, but doesn't matter. And if your deficit is high, resistances don't do shit. So at that point, literally, it could be a plus 0 piece. You're fine. Or you can go Pierce, but it deals no damage. So it's irrelevant. For substats, you can go Effect Hit, Effect Resistance, Accuracy. That's pretty much it. You don't care about anything else. For Evolution, the only useful one at the moment is Effect Resistance. I always go the other one for archive purposes. And the rest is really not needed. The only question mark would be on max cooldown reduction, depending on how the return active skill and the special move work together. I will need to double check that. I have some questions there. So if they work well, then you can go max cooldown reduction. If they don't interact well, then it's irrelevant. You can leave it at 0. For now, I'm leaving it at 0 and that's it. In terms of expected rank, due to his maybe lack of versatility a bit, I will not give him any higher than high ranker. I don't think even high ranker are up. But I mean, high ranker is a really high rank, so it is great. It's a great unit. Don't get me wrong, great unit. I don't know how everything I said was received by you, but this is a great unit. So should you pull for the unit? We know that Luzlik is coming next update. We know, because there is a border for Tiara already in game, that Tiara also might be coming in December. I don't think she will be coming together with Luzlik, but you never know. You never know. So it could happen. It shouldn't, but it could happen. So Tiara might be coming soon before the end of the year, and she will likely be a red DPS or worst case scenario red support, but I don't see her being a support, to be honest. So Tiara will probably be more important because green is already in a decent spot after Rashut release, Arya release, etc. So you might not need Robadon that much. But red is in a terrible spot. And looking at the recent units they made, if they release now a red unit, is going to be really good, I think. So I'd rather really not invest on Robadon. But if you have maxed out Princess, Arya, Rashut, or Chomray, you can consider Robadon. If you have Chomray Rainbow 5, you could stop at 0 dupes, to be honest. You can make him work. If you don't, you could think about maximing out. He has a cheaper banner. It's like an anniversary banner with around 400 black market tickets. You can expect to max him. I still would not recommend him for the reasons I mentioned before. He's not a mass pool. It could be fine at 0 dupes. It really depends. So in general, I would say at least, like, unless your green units are really good and you want the extra support to make your green team shine, I really wouldn't think about pulling for Robadon. That's just my point of view. But up to you. If you have a lot of tickets, sure, why not? But keep in mind, an EX unit like Luzlek is going to need around 1400, but to be safe, better to have like 1600. So yeah, keep that in mind. Then for ignition weapon buffs, I will briefly mention a few things. It's not the core of this video anyway, and I've not tested them too much. But Alocasia is like doubling the physical pierce it gave, so from 30 to 60. Okay, good on paper, won't really change damage too much. For evasion, yes, you get a bit more evasion, and also from 40% to 50% evasion on, like, against basic attacks, which is fine. I think Yugo will run it even better than before, but it's really nothing special. I don't think any additional user will be found for this set. Just the ones that could already run it before, now they will run it a bit better. They will get a bit more out of it, but we won't find any additional use cases, I would say. For Aphlasia, also similar. The cooldown on the effect was decreased from 8 seconds to 6, so you can now proc it a bit more. And also they added an energy decrease. Still no survivability, no new units that could run it. A bit disappointing. So, I mean, definitely the ones that could run it before, now they can benefit even more from it. But I don't see it as a major buff. I think it's really not going to change much. I was hoping for a lot more for these two sets, to be honest. So, a bit disappointed, not gonna lie. And then for the new account, well, I will skip it because I will be updating the guide right after I finish recording the video. And I will likely record also a free-to-play account status video. So I will cover this part there. But yeah, that's all, guys, for the first impression. Let me know in the comments how you feel about Robadon, if you found any interesting interaction. That's it. So thanks so much for watching. I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.